Okay, live and in person.
Mhm.
We are live.
Yes.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to What Are You Watching? I'm Riley Schott, and I'm here with.
I'm Nace Lawson.
I'm Luke Snyder.
I'm Mr. Dutt. I was waiting for J Money Jr., but we're not sure who's behind that curtain.
Never know.
Future Hall of Famer, Mr. Horton.
Hi. Well, Mr. Horton, you have the list of what we're talking about today.
There. Okay. Sorry, guys. I had the YouTube stream going as well. I was getting doubles. I don't even know who I am right now. So,
It's all
Riley,
good.
you start us out. Go ahead. What are you guys watching? Hey, listen. Last week, great show, by the way. We picked up some great tips and things that we were watching. I haven't had a chance to watch all of them, but I know Riley has something. Mr. Dutton and I actually talked this morning. So
Yep, a little bit.
Go ahead, Riley. Start us out.
Last week we brought up the documentary, The Social Dilemma. Mr. Dutt brought it up, and we said that nobody's watched it, but it looked interesting. I actually finished watching it this morning. It is very good, and it explains very well what is going on with social media. Very eye-opening and alarming to what is happening in the world.
Yeah, I have not had a chance to watch it. Riley, Mr. Horton and I were talking this morning about how I haven't gotten there yet, and I was interested in hearing your take on it. So you liked it?
I've noticed that, I liked it a lot. But I've noticed how I see the patterns of what they were talking about, the addiction to your being on your phone or being on a screen. I noticed that in life now. And I'm like,
I have no addiction.
it's interesting with how they explain how the algorithm and everything works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that looks fascinating to me.
Yeah, I have zero addictions.
Well,
That's good.
Mind if I jump in here?
Yeah,
But
jump in, Nate.
Just quickly,
Yeah,
I
go ahead,
finished the last episode of Murder on the Bayou, which was brought up last week. And wow, that took a turn. I'd watched everything but the last episode at that point. And goodness, wow. There's so much going on in this tiny little town. It's crazy. If you like conspiracies, then that is your show.
Okay, so you guys can see this. We got it going on. I think I got it right here. Murder on the Bayou.
Now, here's a question for you, Nate, on that Murder on the Bayou. Was the twist believable? Like, as opposed to unexpected? Because sometimes there's unexpected twists and you're like, wow, that was wild. But was it actually believable?
Yeah, it's believable, but you weren't expecting it, but you're like, yeah, I can see how that is something.
Okay.
Yeah. I was watching this TV show. I still haven't finished it, The 100. It's an little old TV show and everything, but I'm literally like in the third season where a big wave of matter pretty much kills everyone in sight.
So not to
Is that
interrupt
a
you.
spoiler?
It's not a
It's
spoiler.
more like an impending thing that we know all that season. I watched the show.
Oh, okay.
It's not a
All right.
spoiler, but it's more like this is our impending danger. We have to
Okay.
be safe from it.
So I am also a fan of the 100, by the way. It's one of my
Me too.
one of my binge watching shows. But what I want to say about the 100 is interesting for anybody that's starting from the beginning. There's been some kind of a nuclear event on Earth. These are not spoiler alerts. And a certain amount of people took to the space and flying around in huge, what would you call them?
Space stations.
Space stations, right? And so it comes to a point where they need to decide whether they can go back to Earth or not because they're running out of food on the space stations. How long was it? You
And
guys remember?
oxygen.
Wasn't it like 20
It was
years or something?
It was 100 years.
Yeah, it
Was
was
it
100
100
years. It was 121 or something like that.
And so they need to send people down, and they pick all these kids that to send down to Earth. And so that's the show. They send them back down to see what's left.
Yeah, not even
It
expecting.
sounds similar to the show The Society.
Oh yeah.
Basically these teenagers go on a field trip, and they don't come back. Like, they come back and they don't come back to the same world that they left. They come back to no adults are around. They can't get a hold of the outside world. And there's just strange stuff just happening in their town, and they don't know what's happening.
So is it like a modern version of Lord of the Flies?
Mm.
Yeah.
You know, and that's for all you guys. What grade do you guys read Lord of the Flies in? Do you guys read that in
Ninth.
9th grade?
Yeah, because I read it last year.
Ninth.
Yeah, many of these shows, a great point, Mr. Dunn. Many of these shows are based on what I would consider to be Lord of the Flies.
The dystopian world.
Oh, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So yeah, I've seen that.
But did you see these are what we talked about last week. I need to see Murder on the Bayou. I'm going to start The Crown though, because
Yeah,
Mr.
me
Dunn,
too.
you speak so highly of it, and I appreciate your opinion so much. I'm going to start The Crown.
Well, thank you. I still have to watch Social Dilemma. Okay, that's something I'm putting on my list. I did just watch a movie last night. My wife and I watched Harriet, which is a fantastic movie.
I really
you're
want
gonna
to see
get to
that
see it.
movie.
Did I spell
That is a
Harriet right?
very good movie. I think so. Yeah, it's a very good movie. Rated PG-13. It's
Is it about Harriet Tubman?
Yep, it's about Harriet Tubman, her life and her work, and it's very good.
Well, I mean, isn't there places in this area that Harriet Tubman was active, right?
Harriet Tubman actually has a house in
Mhm.
Auburn, New York, which is just near Syracuse.
Yeah.
We've been to it. My wife and I went and visited. It's up near the Seward House. It's really very interesting. It's worth a day trip. You know, one of those day trip vacations if you feel like taking one up to a historical landmark. It's pretty interesting.
While
I
we're throwing
also,
around
Nate, I also need to watch Murder on the Bayou.
very
it-
good.
It's very
Yeah,
good.
I want to watch that too.
And in response to your other question,
So another show.
I think she's gonna put on long sleeve shirts and.
All right, so another show that I watched over quarantine that I became completely obsessed with was Handmaid's Tale on Hulu.
I've heard good things. My mom watches it. She won't let me watch it.
There's a lot of hard content in there to get through. It is based on a book series, but the show, it goes through, the government has now been taken over. The United States government does not exist. It's taken over by extremely religious people that have extreme religion that is not anywhere close to the Constitution. It is more about, having kids, and women need to have kids, and if they sin, they become a handsmaid, and they have to serve out their duties no matter what. And it's a very good show to watch. I very much liked it, and definitely recommend for an older audience, like definitely 16, 17.
I'm 16 and my mom won't let me watch the show. I mean,
Well, I let me just, because I've watched A Handmaid's Tale and did not read the book, but I've talked to people that have read the book. And what I have to say is it's kind of scary. If you look at what's happening globally today and what happened then, it's kind of foretelling. It could be, it not necessarily, but you look at things that are happening in The Handmaid's Tale, and you go, wow, you can almost see how things developing could be. Premise of the story, right, Riley, is some kind of virus or something hits in the U.S. where only certain women can have children and the other women can't. So
It wasn't a virus. It was more about. It wasn't a virus. It was more about like infertility in women is happening more and more often.
Gotcha.
And
So it
now
wasn't
they're
any
struggling
specific
to
event.
make more humans in the world.
Correct. And so they basically round up all the females that can have children in the United States.
That have
It's,
sinned, because there are some that in there that haven't sinned that become into a family and can be married. But if you have sinned and against God, you are now rounded up and you now are forced to carry out these duties.
there you go.
Yeah, but-
And they
but
are
I-
they are the handmaids.
But I watched the TV show Daybreak.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've seen that before. Is literally where like pretty much all adults died, or pretty much.
What'd you
And
call
they're-
that show, Luke? Daybreak?
Yeah,
All one
think-
word?
yeah. I would actually rate it like maybe a little for older people.
Mature audiences? 17 plus?
Yeah,
Although you're not 17 and you watched it, so.
yeah,
Oh, okay. So that kind of shoots that out the window, doesn't it?
yep.
17
Yeah,
plus.
but it's pretty much about Walking Dead, but instead of zombies, they were called ghoulies, and they would be like talking about adult stuff. They were only adults that were pretty much them, and it was actually super weird. I'm not gonna lie. But they were talking about business stuff, and whenever they'd see a rat, they'd talk business to it and eat it. It was so weird.
Yeah, it sounds a little weird. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Mr. Todd, you got a funny look on your face.
That's something.
You talk
Anybody
business
else
to
got
a rat
anything
and then eat
else
them.
that they want to talk about?
I wanted to talk about The Circle.
The Circle?
Ooh, I watched that over quarantine.
Yes. Yeah, so did I. A lot of people did not like it. I heard so much backlash about it that I had to watch it, that I had to see how bad it really is. And honestly, it was not as bad as people say. I kind of enjoyed it. It's a social media anonymous game. And your goal is to try to fool these people into liking you and becoming the most popular in the group and not to be voted off by the other people. I honestly really liked it. But like I said, a lot of people don't like it.
It's a it's a dating simulator, but in real life.
So is this
It's
a
not
mature
even
audience,
dating.
or is this
You could be like 15 and watch this and be
Yeah.
fine, I would think.
15
there are-
plus?
There are these
Um,
there's people who are using their real identities, and then there's catfish. Are we talking about the same show?
yeah.
Because yeah. And
It's
it's something, all
interesting to
right.
use social media and see how easy it is to fool somebody. Like, it's such an interesting game, and to think about social media as being used that way.
Is that the one with Tom Hanks and Emma Watson?
The game,
No.
No, this
This
is
is
sort
a
of like a
game
game show.
Okay. All right, because that's a
A little
movie,
weird.
The Circle.
It's a
Which-
weird concept. It's game show reality TV-esque.
Okay.
Yeah. Now,
like
another
Big
one that I
Brother.
think Nate was mixing up with it was, another one that I think Nate was mixing up was Love is Blind.
That's
And
the
that's
one.
like a dating show. And yeah, you don't get to see the person you're talking to. You're going on these random dates. You're not seeing them at all. But at the end, you're married to one of them.
Yeah, Love is Blind is
You-
another one I watched.
And you don't get to see who you propose to until after you propose. And it's a social experiment to see, is love actually blind? Can you fall in love with somebody without knowing anything about them? Does looks matter? Is it just personality, or is it looks further behind it?
Mr. Dodd, don't you feel like we're way behind the times right now?
Oh my goodness, yeah. I mean, I've heard of these. I've never seen any of them, but I have heard of that Love is Blind one where they, they're trying to decide whether or not you can actually fall in love with anybody without seeing them, whether the physical attraction is not
Mhm.
necessary.
Well, is it possible?
What was the conclusion of the show?
Some actually worked out.
Some worked.
Some
Others
worked
didn't.
out, some didn't. Some ended up getting a divorce. Some didn't even get married. Some of them didn't make it past proposal.
Yeah.
It depended on the person.
I mean, not for nothing, it may be easier to establish a relationship without any kind of, just that way first.
Yeah. I'm
Without
gonna
any
put my,
preconceptions.
I
Exactly.
think, right, or not? I don't know.
Yeah, we were, I was.
It is.
I don't know.
It is easier because you're
I mean, no,
talking to that person. You're getting to know them without seeing them, without making that judgment on their looks. It just gives you that less of a judgment on the person you're talking to.
All right, so boys and girls don't pass notes to each other anymore? Like, do you like me, circle yes or no?
No, they text each other.
No,
It's
no, they don't do that
There's a
anymore.
difference now.
There's no, do you like me, yes or no?
They send him a Google form.
Google.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to, yeah, they have to, they connect with each other via Teams.
Right.
So,
A private chat on Teams. Yeah.
private chat. So Love is Blind. Nate, what do you got? You got anything else?
Let's throw back to early 2000s cartoons that are good for all ages.
Yes, all ages.
Avatar: The Last Airbender. Gonna throw it back to
I
that.
knew you were going there. I knew you were going
SpongeBob.
there.
SpongeBob.
Spelled Avatar
I
wrong.
mean, I could ask him if you want, so.
It's all
Avatar: The
A's.
Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra. You can
Legend
talk
of Korra
about
is
both
the
of those in
sequel
the same
series.
thing.
Well, guess what I mean?
Oh, I love
SpongeBob.
those.
SpongeBob.
Legend of who?
Korra.
Of Korra.
Korra.
What about SpongeBob?
SpongeBob has no
We
overlying
want
plot.
to talk about these.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
these
Right,
are
so
very interesting. These are more similar to anime than cartoon.
Yeah. In Avatar, people are sometimes granted the ability to control one of the four elements: air, water, earth, or fire. And we pick up in the time of Avatar Aang. The Avatar is this sort of immortal being, but when one Avatar dies,
Not
the
immortal.
new Avatar is born, and they have control over all four elements, and they are tasked with keeping peace between the mortal and the spirit realm. We pick up in the time of Avatar Aang when there is a 100-year war while the Fire Nation is trying to conquer the world. I don't want to give too much away, and I can't really talk about Legend of Korra because Legend of Korra is a direct continuation of Aang's story in Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Basically, in Legend of Korra, you get more of a background of what the Avatar came from and what the Avatar is in general, and you learn what did Aang in his era, what did he do that helped make the world so much better? And Korra is the next Avatar after Aang, and
Yeah,
she
and there's
does
slightly
it
more
goes through her
mature-
story and everything that Aang did.
Korra is still all ages, but it does cover some more mature topics. I think is really cool. It talks about the corruption of the police system in season 1. Season 2, it goes in, like legacy. Season 3, conquering a giant fear. And season 4 is recovery and coping. It's really interesting, especially Legend of Korra. Avatar is 3 seasons, about 20 episodes each, and Legend of Korra is 4 seasons, about 15 to 18 episodes each season.
Oh, Mr. Dutt, comments.
My kids have talked about the Avatar Last Airbender, and they they've and they talked about how they used to watch it at my in-laws while the rest of us were watching football. They would be watching Avatar: The Last Airbender. So I don't know much.
I've actually heard good things about it.
Me and my sister watched these while coming out, and my mom would be in the other chair saying, "When does Avatar come on?" Because it's a great show for all ages.
There you go.
It's an amazing show.
It's so great.
Now, you said
Yeah.
it's more anime-esque? Is
It's
that-
Anime-esque.
It's
a
almost.
cartoon, but it's closer
falls-
to anime than it is a cartoon.
You know, the Amazing World of Gumball is pretty much like that, but better.
So there's a
No,
whole
it's
world.
not.
There's a,
Amazing World of Gumball is not even close.
Wait, sorry.
there's a whole
Oh,
world of anime that is out there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
can I describe anime as like Japanese cartoons that carry on like a real story kind of thing?
Yeah.
Is
They're
that
Japanese cartoons for older kids, for older people, for adults. It's more adult is anime, is adult cartoons.
I haven't watched a single anime in my life, so I wouldn't know.
I've
only-
recently started anime.
I've only like seen like 2 animes and then done.
Mr. Dutt, any animes?
I
None.
recently
None.
watched like 2.
I got nothing.
So
All right,
I got
we'll move on. Mr. Dutt, do you have another show? We each got time for one more.
I haven't seen it, but I've seen advertisements for it, but I think I don't have an HBO membership, so I have to kind of wait and see if it'll ever show up on anything else. It's called The Weight of Gold. And it takes a look at Olympic athletes who are training to be Olympians. You know, they're identified at 3, 4, 5 years old, and they spend every moment preparing to try to do the Olympics. And then what happens to them afterwards? What happens to their mental health? You know, because you hear things about, what's the great swimmer there? With the
Michael Phelps?
Michael Phelps, and how he went through some pretty dark times once the Olympics were over. Because if the focus of your entire life for 17 years is getting to the 2016 Olympics, number one, what happens if you don't win? And number two, what happens to you if you do win? Like, what am I supposed to do with my life now? So I just saw the previews of it, and I want to kind of look at that. I'm a documentary kind of guy, so that
I
looks
can
interesting.
see that.
too.
Documentaries are cool.
I love documentaries.
Yeah, so,
I'd love to make a documentary.
oh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah. it
So
would be.
speaking of
Go ahead, Ryan,
documentaries, I do have a documentary I want to talk about.
Yes.
It's called I Don't F Word with Cats.
Oh, that is great.
It's a murder documentary.
Yeah, that is really
serial
great.
killer documentary.
Yeah.
And he starts off by killing animals, and he gets known and famous on social media for putting out videos on YouTube of him killing cats, killing kittens.
Like
And
vacuum
this group
sealing.
of people on social media were the group of people on social media created a group on Facebook that ended up actually finding him. Police didn't find him. It was their group that put that action into happening. And they could have stopped him before he killed a person, but the police wouldn't listen to the group of people that found all this evidence against him. If the police would have listened, he wouldn't have ever killed a person.
Wow. I
And
don't know.
it's proven through all the evidence that they gathered.
That
I
was one
struggle
of
with the animal abuse. Hopefully it's not very graphic, but
well.
It is
I think
a
there's
little
only like one
graphic.
case.
It does show the kitten.
Hey guys, I gotta go.
Ben, you wanted the muffin, right?
okay, Luke, thank you.
Muffin.
See you,
Okay.
bud.
That is one of the most interesting docu-series I've ever watched.
You said trusting?
It was amazing.
Interesting.
Oh,
It was an amazing thing to watch, to think that a group of people who just cared about the fact that he was harming animals and saw the signs of him becoming a serial killer, they're the reasons why he was put in jail. They're the reasons why he was caught. Otherwise, nobody would know who this person is.
so the premise was people started following online. They were disturbed, obviously, by what he was doing. And so they formed their own group to actually hunt this person down and get them and get them taken care of.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like they would use Google Maps to identify where their suspect would be in the world.
how long did it,
Grandpa.
not for nothing,
They
how
would
long
use
of a
like
series is it?
traffic lights.
Yeah, they would use traffic lights to see
I
where
can't
this.
remember.
It's on Netflix. I have Netflix open. No, I have Disney Plus open. Never mind.
So what was the name of it?
Yeah, I
It
can't
was a
remember
bad
how
word.
long it is. I watched it.
Don't
while I
F
was-
with cats.
I don't F with cats.
I don't,
Yes, yeah. No, don't. not the I. It's just don't F with cats.
They use don't F asterisk with cats.
All right.
Yeah.
Title's a bit disturbing, so I'm gonna put mature right next to it.
Oh yeah, that's immature.
Definitely like 17, 18 plus. Like you cannot be watching it younger than that.
Okay, neither one of you are 18, so
Don't tell them that.
But I'm 17. I said 17, 18 plus.
oh, 17, 18. There you go.
We're good.
I'm
Ooh,
17
okay.
in spirit.
That took us in a whole new direction. I didn't really think. we were gonna go there. But oh, okay. Nate, you got one
If we
another
have-
one, or Riley, did you have another
if
one?
we have
We got time for one more.
Nate, if you have another one, go right ahead.
I'm gonna throw in the mix another movie that everyone should watch. Hamilton on Disney Plus.
Yes. Yes.
Had to throw it in
Oh, I've
sometime.
been waiting.
All
Hamilton
Double
ages.
thumbs up.
Hamilton, if you don't know somehow, one, who are you? Two, it follows the story of the founding father, Alexander Hamilton. You might recognize him as the person on the $10 bill and the first Treasury Secretary of the United States, using rap, R&B, and jazz and blues songs. It's about 2 hours, 45 minutes, and it's all music, and it's amazing. It follows his entire life from his time in the Caribbean all the way to his death by Aaron Burr. And that's not a spoiler because it's historic. And the first song tells us that we are leading to the moment, the entire musical, where Aaron Burr shoots Alexander Hamilton.
So I feel like because Nate,
It's such an amazing musical.
your family is history oriented as well as musical oriented. I feel like somebody created this just for your family.
I hear 6 is amazing too. I have to get into that.
6?
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's on TV. I know it's a musical, but I think it's about 6 historical women. But I've never really heard about it until recently, so I'm gonna have to get into 6.
All right.
I will say that Nate's mom is why I'm obsessed with Hamilton. Like she got me obsessed with it in middle school. I've been listening to the music for it for so long, and then to finally be able to watch it, it was amazing.
Oh, I went to see it at Shays in Buffalo, and it was fantastic.
I'm jealous of that.
Have you seen it, Mr. Dutt?
Hamilton?
Yes.
Yes, I loved it. I watched it on Disney Plus, actually.
I don't kid.
No.
Okay. I have not seen it. And,
It's-
I think because Hamilton's sister-in-law, daughter-in-law is Angelica Schuyler, who in the town of
Sister-in-law.
Angelica is
Yeah.
named after.
Sister-in-law, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it
Now, Mr.
sister-in-law?
Dutt, here's the important question. When did you cry?
I bawled.
Oh,
It's Quiet Uptown.
Yeah, that's for most
yeah,
people.
me too.
I was done. Yeah, that was one of the most amazing scenes I've seen. It was just beautiful. I have to admit though, I am 50 years old. So the first time I watched it, I did watch it with subtitles to catch all of the words that they were saying during the songs. I've seen it twice.
I
Right.
always watch everything with subtitles because
Me too.
I'm like half deaf.
Yeah.
So you would recommend watch with subtitles?
At least the first time.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
definitely.
Because there's so many words that they're throwing at you in terms of history and people and how they're saying it, and it's cool.
I was
really recommend it.
I was watching YouTube videos on it, and like they say like over 30 words per second. Like some of the songs are so fast.
Guns and Chips, Lafayette's Rap. That's the fastest there is.
Yep.
Wow, we covered.
They say
1,
so
2,
many words
3,
per
4,
per
5,
second.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 shows today. We can't end on 13. We need one more.
Well, Legend of Korra, you didn't count that. That's 14.
Oh, there you go. There's 14. So let's make it 15 because that was my number when I played Babe Ruth baseball. So,
All right, so what do you got, Money?
I've been watching. Did I mention last week the 3%? Did I talk about that?
Ooh, that
Yeah, I
is a
think we
good
did.
show.
Or no, we didn't.
I don't think we
Never
did.
mind.
We didn't, but that is a good show. I've seen bits and pieces of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, and along the same lines, I'm gonna use Money Heist. Because they're relatively the same shows. The actors are speaking in Spanish, and people are talking over them. But they line up. It's okay. I don't want to. It sounds funny, but
Just
the
don't look
3%.
at their lips directly.
Yeah, the 3% is premise. You've got the haves and the have-nots. The haves are the rich people. The have-nots are the not wealthy people. Every year, they take the kids that are 20 years old that turn 20. They get to go through a series of tests to see if they can move to the other side with the haves. And only 3% of the people make it. And it's the process of them going through that test. It's
It
interesting.
sounds very similar to Divergent.
Yeah, I'd say it's real close to that.
Dystopian. Yeah,
Does anybody watch Money Heist?
I have not.
No, I haven't. I have heard good things about it though.
Yeah, I became obsessed with Money Heist because it's about planning the perfect crime where no one gets hurt, and it's a social justice kind of crime. Does that make sense? They commit these crimes against as a social justice statement. That's all I'll say. It's interesting, and there's I think 3 seasons. But
So-
again, filmed in Spanish. And when they released this originally to a Spanish audience, nothing. People didn't catch on. But as soon as they put people speaking English over top of it, boom, it took off. Unbelievable, right?
Interesting. So it's like a good guys, Ocean's 13.
Yes, correct.
But they're not just
it's-
out for gain, but it makes it interesting how they figure it out.
Yes. Yep. There you go. That's all I got. Anybody else got one they want to finish up with, or are we calling it? We good for today? We've kind of run over a little bit, but we always do because we are interesting people and we have interesting things to talk about.
Yes, I am the TV expert.
And I am a future Hall of Famer.
I got nothing. I
Yeah.
got to go and get some work done, but it was great talking to everybody.
So take us home, Riley Schott.
All right, so thanks for watching and tuning in to What Are You Watching? We'll be back next week, next Friday. I'm Riley Schott, and I'm here with.
Nate Slauson.
Raleigh Detweiler.
Future Hall of Famer, Mr. Horton. And we'll say it for you, J Money Jr. Thanks for tuning in.